Let's be seated, please. Program Director, Minister Patricia de Lille, Minister Lindiwe Sisulu, our Premier, David Makura, Mr. Steve Brooks, the developer here, and various officials who are here with us from various government departments. I'm told that we also have bankers here. I'd like to honor the bankers because they are the ones who are going to make this project really come alive. And ladies and gentlemen, and all of you who are as colorful as I am today. I've been told that I look colorful. I'm rather glad that on a Sunday I can look that colorful. It's a real pleasure to be here to launch this first phase of this development in a wonderful place like this one. It is also a real pleasure to launch a project like this, which in many ways is going on with pushing back the ugly and horrible frontiers of the past that we have had, where the majority of our people were relegated to the backwaters of our living spaces in the country. And through this, we are bringing more and more of our people to the centers of human activity, economic activity, through proper design and planning and really well constructed living spaces. So this, in many ways, is a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. The launch of the Mooikloof development is the outcome of a very successful private partnership process. And I want to congratulate the developers, Baldwin Properties, but also the provincial government, as well as the city of Tshwane, for their commitment in bringing this project to fruition. The cooperation that we have seen through the various departments of our government working together, infrastructure, human settlement, working together with the province and the metro, and working together with the private sector. And now we are going to onlay on top of that the banks, the financial institutions. This is the way we would like things to be done in our country moving forward. This wonderful, mutually beneficial cooperation and collaboration is what I call going to be the order of doing things as we move forward, where we work in an integrated manner, firstly in government, where there is total cooperation, implementing what we call our district development model, where the one sphere of government works with the other, and department works with the other, and cooperating fully in an integrated way. But we would also like to thank the drive and the energy that we have seen in our various officials at government level, led by Dr. Ramaphosa and various others, including the DGs who are going to now take over this project, as Minister Sisulu has said. The DG of Human Settlements, Water and Sanitation, obviously, will now run with this, but ably supported with all other departments in government. Now, what we are seeking to do is to unlock the energy of our country, make sure that we utilize the development of infrastructure as one of the key drivers of economic recovery and economic growth. 2 years ago, I spoke about my dream of building a new city, a city post the apartheid era. Now, I'm wonderfully glad to hear that many of us, various sectors in our community, are talking about their own cities. The city on the Vaal, as the Premier has said, the city near Lanseria, and also Steve Brooks' city, this mega city that we are launching today. Now, the Mooikloof integrated development has a total project value of 84 billion rand and is one of the strategic infrastructure projects that we gazetted at the end of July, as Minister De Lille was saying. And that demonstrates the seriousness with which, as a government, we are approaching infrastructure. And yes, Minister Sulu is absolutely right. I'm in love with infrastructure. I'm in love with the built environment. And if I had not gotten lost into law and politics, I'd probably have been a building engineer. But maybe in my next life, I'll come back as a building engineer. We're absolutely serious about ensuring that we build up our country, and we also do it in a synchronized manner, where we don't only build, but where we also maintain what we build, as Minister De Lille was saying. Now, the listing of the strategic infrastructure projects follows the inaugural Sustainable Infrastructure Development Symposium, which we held in June, even under conditions of a lockdown, where we were able at a global level to get more than 2,000 people who are interested in infrastructure build in our country to participate, as far afield as Hong Kong and China, the United States, Europe, and many other places, also on our continent. And through that, we were able to raise and unlock over 340 billion rand in private sector investment in various economic sectors of our country. And we will talk more about this when we unfold the economic recovery plan that we've got for our country moving forward and beyond COVID. That we are already seeing the brick and mortar results of this strategic infrastructure project is immensely encouraging. Like what Premier Makura said, we're now moving away from cutting ribbons, or rather sword turning. We're now going into the implementation phase of every infrastructure project. We're no longer just talking about dreams. We're now living those dreams, implementing those dreams, and making sure that what we have spoken about is actually built up. And this is where the issue of implementation comes into play. We now, in the 6th administration, are focusing more on implementation. And yes, admittedly, a number of our people have been complaining about implementation of this and that and that. This train is now moving. The implementation train is now moving, and we are going to be implementing the various dreams that we have put in front of the nation. And I see then that when I said last year that we want to hurry up, we want to khawuleza, as Minister De Lille was saying, we want to khawuleza to meet the needs of our people, just as what we are doing here in the city of Tshwane and in our province, and we are going to be doing it nationwide. Now, the first phase of the project is residential developments, and some 50,000 housing units in sectional title form are going to be developed here. And that, in my mind, records as one of the largest developments for residential purposes that we have seen in a long time. And this is just the beginning. We're going to be rolling out more and more of this. Once completed, the Mooikloof megacity may end up becoming the world's largest sectional title development, with land also earmarked for schools, for clinics, for shops, for offices in this very beautiful spot. It is pleasing to note that the development is being pursued in line with green building principles and will also make optimal use of green belts and green spaces for residential recreation. Furthermore, the use of recycled materials and solar energy technology furthers our commitment to making green human settlements what I would call a permanent feature on the national landscape. And once it is perfected here, we will want it to be done throughout our country. This housing development addresses what may be referred to as the housing missing middle. People who earn too much to qualify for fully subsidized housing, but people who don't earn enough to afford debt-financed housing in areas of their choice. But by far the most important aspect of this catalytic project is really its contribution to inclusionary housing development. In the inaugural State of the Nation address on the 6th administration, I outlined the 7 priority areas that will guide and underpin the work of government. Amongst the priority areas that I identified was spatial integration, human settlement, and local government. Now, spatial integration is aimed at undoing a prominent feature of our horrible past. And this project begins the process of addressing that. While a minority of our people lived in comfort and security, with access to centers of commercial activity and the best of facilities, the black majority were confined to townships, almost to the backyard of South Africa, that only served as labor reservoirs or reserves. In the rural parts of our country, this was even worse, with the underdeveloped Bantustans, as they were called then, existing alongside more affluent so-called white South Africa. Now, we continue to feel the effects of apartheid spatial development and design in what we may term the 40-40-40 principle. This means that most people are housed 40 kilometers from employment opportunities. And as a result, what they tend to do is to spend 40% of their income on transport. But they also spend 40% of their time traveling to work. In many cases, these affects, those who are affected are the poor people who live in 40 square meter houses. This development has all the wonderful and key features of spatial integration. It is located in one of the most sought after addresses in the city of Tshwane, with some of the highest average house prices being on the higher side. It is a nodal development, giving residents and tenants easier access to the vital transportation corridors. And the province is going to be investing in road development to ensure that the people who live here are then able to travel with greater ease to places of work, places of economic activity, and various other places. Now, the successful launch of Mooikloof further reinforces the appropriateness of what I referred to earlier as the district development model, and reinforces the collaboration of the 3 spheres of government that has made this project possible. The City of Tshwane has facilitated the approval of appropriate zoning and the provision of water, wastewater, and energy bulk infrastructure as well. I trust that as government, we are walking the talk on enabling conditions of development by issuing all the various necessary licenses and zoning permits as speedily as possible, so that we no longer have to wait for too long. And there are times when our people wait forever, and we are going to create an office where if a citizen of our country is delayed inordinately on issues like permits, like permissions and all that, they should be able to go there, like an ombud office where people will go and complain. And I want to do this advisedly because at a personal level, I once waited for 3 years. For 3 years for the city to approve the building plans of a little house that I needed to build. Little, not even a house, a little room where the security people who look after me could stay and drink tea and all that. 3 years it took, plans going backwards and forwards. Now, with the launch of this and moving forward, we want all that red tape to be cut out. And it prevails particularly at all levels of government, at national, at provincial, and at local government level. We want all our civil servants to be on their toes, to know that when an application is launched, is brought in, their job is to make sure that they move that paper. They don't sit and sleep on it. They make things happen. This is the time to make things happen in our country and to move the country forward. Otherwise, we will never be able to get out of the hole that COVID-19 has deposited us into. Now is the time for recovery. Now is the time for all of us to wake up. Now is the time for us to put shoulder to the wheel and to work much harder than we have in the past. And for those who are civil servants, to make sure that we serve our people with distinction. And we want some of the frustrations that investors face to actually be unblocked. All the administrative blockages to be removed so that, for example, together with Minister Sisulu, we are working to ensure that the issuing of water use licenses as well as appeals take place within a short space of time. And she's focused, and the department is focused on that. Make sure that all those permits that need to be issued do actually happen. Because as they delay to happen, they block investment, they make people get discouraged from investing and walk away to the next area or even the next country. The Gauteng provincial government is funding, as I said, the expansion of the Garsfontein Provincial Road to accommodate the projected increase in vehicle traffic that will be generated by this development, which will have easily 250,000 people living here out of the 50,000 units that we are going to have. The National Department of Human Settlements and Water and Sanitation, through its agency, the Housing Development Agency, is assisting a model to make it possible for more low-income households to benefit from the development. The potential, and that is why Minister Sisulu is insisting that now that the front-end part of the work has been done, it's now over to them. They are now going to be the pilot taking this project forward. And they will be able to do so because they are armed with good policies that they are going to implement, and the officials are now going to be focused on ensuring that there is great success out of this project, because we want to have many more of such projects. Potential homeowners will also be able to apply for assistance from Government's Finance-Linked Individual Subsidy System, the FLISP. This development will also lead, and which is the most pleasing part for us in government, it is also going to lead to the creation of some 41,000 jobs at the time, jobs that we sorely need. And Steve Brooks and all his various other collaborators are going to make sure that as many jobs as possible are created, and the many skills and the many crafts that are going to be played out in developing this project are going to be empowering. And this is where we want black construction industry people to play a key role, in boosting experience, in boosting investment, and in boosting the activity that needs to come out of this. The success of any future mega housing development rests in the end with public-private sector collaboration, because the public sector cannot do this alone, nor can the private sector do this alone. So that collaborative interface needs to be there at all times. Private sector resources and expertise will aid government's efforts to meet the housing demand that is so huge in our country. The public sector can incentivize further investment by providing the necessary bulk infrastructure to enable development. Precisely what Premier Makura and his colleagues and the Metro are going to be focusing attention on. It is this approach that has made it possible for this development to take off. The reality is that the fiscus cannot on its own support the rising housing demand in our country. COVID-19 has worsened an already dire situation in our public finances. We'll be looking at how best to leverage private sector resources, but also private sector skills to help government deliver on its mandate to provide decent housing to the people of our country. So in the end, ladies and gentlemen, Mooikloof is an excellent example of how public and private sector can work together if they are aligned for the mutual benefit, not only of themselves, but also of the people of our country. The economic recovery plan that we will be unveiling soon will provide greater insight into how government plans to revive the economy, but focusing on infrastructure and the role that infrastructure is going to be playing in all this, so that we hear and see more yellow equipment. The noise of those big machines should create a wonderful din around here, and we should see all those yellow equipment working and people working here to create this economic recovery that we want to see. The emphasis, of course, will be on this infrastructure type project to be spread throughout the country so that they do become the mini flywheels of the economic recovery that we want, because they're a great job creator. Just in one space where we will be able to create more than 40,000 jobs at a time is what we now are going to be focusing on. So I want to see more of these types of projects, 40,000 and more people working on various sites, so that, yes, Premier Makura, Gauteng becomes a building site, but I want to see South Africa being the building site in our lifetime, so that we gear up on the built environment and increase infrastructure build as much as we possibly can. And it is when this wheel starts to turn that it gathers more momentum, it gathers more moss, where investments will begin to flow in. Because when this happens, this is when investors see that South Africans are serious. They are serious about their future, they are serious about where they want to go, and investors then are attracted, they come. like moths come to the light. And this is the light that we are seeking to put in place here. And ultimately, the recovery plan is going to be anchored on social compacting, where all of us see ourselves as playing a role, where none of us is a bystander, where each one of us positions themselves as being able to play a role. But more importantly, where we work together, where none of us think that I can work together alone in my own little space, and everyone leave me alone. We want everyone to work together so that we create a virtuous circle where everything happens all at the same time. Now, overcoming the devastation legacy of COVID-19 does require a collective effort. And it is for this reason that we have invested time and effort to engage with our social partners through the NEDLAC process. And some people feel that this is a delay tactic. It isn't. What South Africa needs now is all of us to build a social compact and work together for the wonderful ends that we all want to see. And it is when all social partners are committed that we will be able to have success. We face challenging times as we drive the economic recovery effort because a momentous task awaits us. So the launch of this project is in many ways a ray of sunshine in an otherwise gloomy situation or climate. It is a demonstration of our resilience as a country and of the strength of public-private partnerships. And I once again want to congratulate those who've been involved in this project for having this wonderful occasion and making it possible. What we are seeing is impressive, and I look forward to seeing the buildings and all the houses and this wonderful mega city that is going to rise from the ground in this place. And yes, we want, as Minister Sisulu said, we want to come back in a year's time, Steve, and see buildings right throughout. And we want to see more and more of these. You are a big dreamer. You're a big dreamer like I am. You're a big dreamer like all of us are. Go out and act your dreams. You're a big dreamer like Dr. Kgosi Ramaphosa. He's got big dreams, much bigger than his head. And we want him to implement those dreams. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Ke a leboga. We are now going to get the man to come and tell us more about his dreams. But Mr. President, in pioneering this new methodology, we've learned a lot of lessons with the first one. One of the key lessons that we have learned is that in getting project preparation done up front, that helps you to de-risk the project. But also in terms of this partnership between the public sector and the private sector, we're able also to spread the risk. And it's not just with the private sector, but it's with government and everyone. So as we go along with Dr. Kgosi, we will certainly refine it, Mr. President. As we all know, that the 100 billion rand that government has put in the infrastructure fund, that fund is also now operational, and I'm sure things will go much quicker. I now call on Mr. Brooks to address us. Thank you.
Sure, tough act to follow. Yeah. Thank you to everybody that has attended today. It's a great privilege to welcome His Excellency President Cyril Ramaphosa, Minister Patricia de Lille, Minister Sisulu. It's lovely to see the women involved in this project. Fantastic. Premier David Makura, I love your outfit. I love the hard hat. Next time I'm going to get you a throttle. Gilbert Martins, love your socks. You're as colorful as the president. So thank you very much for your support. Dr. Corsi, my dear friend, because I like to call you a good friend of mine, you're a legend. You have not only employed a fantastic team of people, fantastic ladies. I'm very passionate about ladies in construction. Your team are transparent, very decent, very pleasant to deal with. Keep it up. Keep up the good work, and thank you for your support. Mr. President, I started this business 25 years ago, very similar to the birth of this country, out of the depths of apartheid. I was very blessed. My wife, Michelle Brooks, managed to have dinner with Nelson Mandela, which is a tremendous honor for our family. I have had the honor of meeting our president, of having tea with him, and I'd like to take the liberty of calling him a friend, which is a hell of an honor. It's the highest honor of my career. Mr. President, I'm a humble man. I'm a builder. I haven't got a fancy degree. I'm a worker. I believe in leading people. I've had tremendous vision with this business. Yes, I am a dreamer. I've got big dreams for this country and for Bowen Properties. I believe we can eradicate apartheid. I believe it's a fantastic thing to be a builder, to build someone's home in the Jewish tradition is one of the highest honors you can get. I've assembled a phenomenal team of people around me. I have phenomenal partners. None of my partners have ever left me. The list is endless. I have to mention just a few of them. Rodney Gray, my original partner in Bowen, when I realized 24 years ago I can't do this without his help. Thank you, Rodney Gray, for always being there for me. Ulrike Schneidner, my projects director, the man that does all the hard work. Jonathan Weltman, and the list goes on and on and on. Our president knows some of my partners. Some of them have asked me to keep them out of the limelight because they prefer being in the background. I'm extremely passionate about women in construction, and if you look at my team that are here, more than 50% of them are women, and we are very proud, Mr. President, to have Solly, our black agent, who is doing the Mooikloof development. Very proud of Solly. We've got his parents here. They would like to meet you, obviously, just to say a few words to you. So we're very, very proud of our heritage. We also have very carefully engaged with local communities. There's been a lot of talk about all the gangsters in the townships, etc., etc. We have crossed that. The minister met them yesterday. Fantastic people. We're employing a lot of people out of previously disadvantaged areas, and of which we are extremely proud of that, Mr. President. And we're empowering them, paying them on time, and getting them mobilized. This development took many, many years in planning. I was approached on this development more than 10 years ago. The owner of this land was very patient with us. He's here today. He had the pleasure of meeting the president. We came up with different ideas over the years until my dear friend and a good friend of Dr. Corsi's managed to unlock the site. Andre Wright from Bochertman Architects. We created our green development. We're very, very proud of our green development. And there's a reason behind it. Just the reason we call it a green development is to remind us to constantly integrate and make sure that we focus with nature, that it doesn't just become a hard built environment that eventually looks like some of our inner cities where there's no trees. We want to make this a fantastic place to live. I have my grandson here in the background who's now turning 2, and I've got a hell of a legacy to create for him. I'm very proud of being a grandfather. So through our greening, it's a constant reminder. I commit to you, Mr. President, to make this as green as we can possibly make it. We have tremendous affiliation with the Green Building Council, with the IFC, with all our partners, and they are really, really committed. It's a total fallacy that you need just to throw money at it. You need to be innovative, you need to think, and I've got the best of the best team around me, and we will deliver the best green brand. To Minister Sisulu, we will honor all your commitments to water, reharvesting, solar, etc., etc. We'll do our best. And if there is anything we're missing, please pick up the phone and tell us. We're builders. We're not always the brightest. Sometimes we do make mistakes, but we will rectify it. David Makura, yesterday, I need to show you the first green bridge in Africa. We're very proud of that, linking up the Klipriversberg. And those are the kind of initiatives that we want to continue doing. You know, I can't help myself, Mr. President, standing in front of you. I've got another one which I know I was talking to the minister yesterday and bending your ear about. It's a fantastic development. I had Dr. Corsi there the other day. It's called Paarde de Vlei in Somerset West. It's next to Denel, and we all know Denel does need a bit of a help at the moment. So I've got some ways of unlocking it. I showed it to Dr. Corsi. I think he was quite impressed with it. I know it's a favorite one of yours, Minister. I'm not going to say any more. You know, we really have good plans for that development, and we'd like to unlock another mega city in the Western Cape. You know, the eradication of apartheid is a difficult thing. If you look across here, you know, we've got some of the wealthiest people in Pretoria living here, and I think it's absolutely humbling and fantastic that we can have someone living in a 499 or 500,000 apartment. Yesterday we sold 200 apartments, and of which you'd be proud to know that 50 of them were qualified for the FLISP category. So we're very, very in tune with that whole FLISP arrangement. We applaud you, Minister. It's a fantastic initiative. You ladies are doing unbelievable work, and we're going to push you even harder and harder on that FLISP. We want to get those deposits in with the client. We want to create wealth. And lastly, as I explained to the President, my duty as a CEO of this company is to protect people. You know, I want to protect all our clients. I don't want the days where a client, because he's uneducated or doesn't understand, signs up for 3% above prime. We do our own mortgages in-house with a conjunction with all the various banks. I promise you, Mr. President, we will protect your people. And I also did the world's first, where I sat with the IFC and Absa Bank. They were the ones that took the initiative, where we looked at taking greening of buildings, in other words, all the various accreditation, and giving it a direct benefit to the client. We were the leaders in the world. South Africans are leaders. We've proven that time again. I was the first guy in the world to link it to a direct benefit to the client. In other words, Absa offered 0.25% off the mortgage, off the rate that they qualified for. Now, if you work that out over 20 years, that's a substantial wealth creation through the greening. I'm now pushing Absa. I know today I'm going to put you on the spot, Absa, to get that up to 0.5%, and to push all the other institutions to get that on their books as well. We're a developer, and I'd like to also welcome all other developers to take up the challenge to make greener developments and give the client the direct benefit. Thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your support. Mr. President, I don't know how you keep up with your workload. It is phenomenal. Us humble builders work hard, and I think it is nothing compared to how hard you work. I'm going to speak to somebody to get myself a nice shirt, because I think I need to improve my dress sense and make myself a little bit more colorful, Dr. Corsi. I'm sure my wife will agree with that, ladies. So, Mr. President, thank you for spending time on your Sunday. I don't know how you do it. You're a legend. Ministers, it is the highest honor. David Makura, thank you very much. It is DGs, everybody that's here, my friends, my fellow directors, all the staff that work for Borwen. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve, and thank you to all of you that came out here today. We have come at the end of our program. We are just going to take the President around to see some of the work being done before he has to leave us. Mr. President, yes, we must walk the talk. I think our people are tired of talking. And once again, we want to demonstrate that we can do it as South Africans. We've gone through worst in our history, and we've always united in our diversity. We've always pulled through many difficult situations, and I'm sure we're going to pull together again after COVID-19, because COVID-19 is still going to be with us for a long time to come. But united in our diversity, we will be able to achieve anything in life. So thank you very much for coming, and God bless, and all safe home. Eh? Oh, is there another one of the program? I'm not a good program director. While the administrator of Swane is coming to take the podium, I just want to say one more thing before I forget also. I'm also that age when you remember something, you must say it immediately. I want to just ensure all of you that the President have signed performance agreements with all of the ministers. And all of you think he's a very nice man, but not when it comes to our performances. So, Mr. President, I think I can have one tick on my performance agreement today. Thank you very much, Administrator.
Sorry to be a pain.
I'm sorry, I didn't look at the program.
Thank you, Minister Dillil. Excellent President Cyril Ramaphosa, Minister Lindy Sisulu, the Premier, Minister Dillil, Dr. Ramaphosa, Stephen. It's a great honor to sit here today, certainly to give a vote of thanks, and hope to leave you with the 2 or 3 things that our speakers have left with us as we go forward. As the administrator in Swane responsible for human settlements, water and sanitation, and infrastructure development, it is true that today is one of those days that it's certainly an honor and a privilege to be part of a city that is giving back. And with the team that is there, Minister, we assure you that we keep looking forward. What we're going to see here one day is where dreams are going to be made, Stephen, and that's reality. Dreams that will be made by people who may forget, may never even think of the past. They will just read about it, and they'll create new dreams and new memories. But the past was there. And anything that we do, particularly in human settlements, that can change that past, that's what will live with us. So in thanking all of you, let me first thank Minister Dillil for taking on a dual role today. First, your role as the Program Director, and secondly, as the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, which is a project stemming from your office with Dr. Ramaphosa. And I think it's important to say this is one of them. The megacity project of Mooikloof is one of those that emanates with strong partnerships. So to you, thank you very much. Dr. Ramaphosa, thank you very much for keeping the city on board. It's not easy in the city, as we all know, the current situation the city faces, but certainly the city is committed to this project, and certainly the lead administrator, Paul Nawa, said, yes, we can ensure that we will, while we're there, what's been committed to will be done. Premier, your vision for the Gauteng 2030, it's a vision that's anchored in that we strive towards a seamless integration, and today we launch, or part of, the Mooikloof megacity, which echoes that. The 50,000 units that will be provided in the east side of Tshwane is going to make a massive impact on the dream of Gauteng. The economic corridor, the fact that the SEZ to the value of 17 billion rand in Silverton is up and running, the fact that we're looking at the growth and research and development on this side of the corridor will equally grow. So people will be here to take occupation, and certainly to stop the 40-40 principle, President, of where we give so much away of our hard-earned investment. Stephen, to yourself, these need visions. You need visionaries, you need people who will say, this is what we want to do. And the fact that you've been able to capture the market of 3,500 to 22,000 per market spectrum, we hope with you and your bankers that this is the first step in growing not only our economy, and equally I hope that every one of your developments addresses even the lower than 4,000, because I think we can feed off each other so that we grow with each other integrated. Minister Sulu, you in your Breaking New Ground policy, you had the dream and the vision that without partnership, we will not change the face of human settlements. And today we sit here at Mooikloof Megacity, one of those catalytic projects which you often spoke about over the years, where in fact this is the reality. It's the national government, it is the provincial government, it's the local authority. And together they are producing the city that is going to be a different city. One of its kind, the first of many. If we take the long-term plan for cities like this, it is only with the intervention that we will make the culture of our cities grow. And brick by brick, we will destroy the legacy of apartheid. Honourable President, you took a big chance and convened a summit. And your dream in a summit was to say you wanted to get as many people together in a partnership that would develop infrastructure. You had government there, you had multilateral agreements with banking, the banking sector was there, development agencies were there, and most important, people who were in the infrastructure. It wasn't years ago you did that, Mr. President. It was just the other day. And today we sit here with a catalytic project that emanates with some of the values that you expressed at that summit. The city of Tshwane itself believes in this project. And every work that's going to be done in the surrounding areas will impact on this project, but equally will impact on the ones just down the road. So Tshwane has not forgotten what it was supposed to do with the other areas. They will continue. The Mamalolis, Shoshanguvis, Mabupani, all those will continue. But this will certainly be part of the bigger strategic plan, and the owners will be part of it. Indirect impact around the city of Tshwane. And in closing, Mr. President, this is a conversation that you started, and the transformation has begun. And the reality when you come back in 6 months' time, the reality, dream, the combination of all together will produce and certainly change the lives of people. And certainly to everybody who made this possible today, to Dr. Ramaphosa and his team, to Baldwin, to you and your team for putting all of this together. I think as we reflect back in a few years' time, written in indelible ink will be the Mooikloof. It will be a start, but certainly it can be no end. So to everybody, let's agree that this is the beginning of creating a better life for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. So this is now the real end of the program. I jumped the gun before, but once again, thank you for all of you for coming. I'm just conscious of the President's time. So all safe home and enjoy what is left of the Sunday. And may God bless all of you. Kia ora boga.
lami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana Jerusalema ikhaya lami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze zuhambe nami dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze zuhambe nami ilondoloze 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 zungangishilana ilondoloze 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 zungangishilana dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze zuhambe nami dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze zuhambe nami Jerusalema ikhaya lami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana Jerusalema ikhaya lami ilondoloze uhambe nami zungangishilana dawo yami ayikholana buso wami awukholana ilondoloze